What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off this upcoming week, you do have some Fed speakers at the beginning part. So depending on what they do say, especially if it is in regards to monetary policy, that could shake up some of the growth stocks. So of course, Lucid would be encumbered in that. Currently, there is a 90.4% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. And in my opinion, assuming the data continues how it has been, very, very strong, I think this might diminish more and more because, of course, why do you need to cut rates essentially if the data is very good? Aside from that, though, on Tuesday, you have the M1 coming out, so money supply. Previous was 21.18 trillion. We'll just have to wait and see what comes from that, because I feel like that one data point might, I don't know, a lot of people might be looking at that. And then you do have just the basic initial jobless claims and other consumer data for that. So in my opinion, yes, a lot of that could really disrupt the broader market. But if anything, it is going to be more linked to companies unveiling their earnings, more specifically Tesla. And in case you are new to Lucid or the EV sector, whatever happens to Tesla, good, bad, and the ugly, does trickle down to other EVs. The only positive out of anything is if Tesla does miss on their revenue, I don't know if that would really affect Lucid all that much, only because Lucid already tentatively disclosed that, right? That's one of the, I guess, several factors that caused Lucid to go down recently. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. But regardless, depending on what they do kind of talk on future guidance, that could really affect Lucid, again, positive or negative. Generally, the fear and greed index is under the extreme greed category, so people's appetite for risk is going to be there. So if Lucid does put out something positive, possibly, then you could see a rush of maybe value investors getting in. But in my opinion, based on what Lucid did drop recently, I don't think it would be advisable for them to put out any news or do any like conferences or anything like that. Silence might be the best thing up until Lucid's upcoming earnings, but what do I know, right? But regardless, this is what is anticipated for events for this upcoming week. So it looks like a Toronto art studio is celebrating, or the Art Toronto is celebrating their 25th edition. So they're going to be participating between October 24th and 27th. And then kicking off on the 25th, they're going to be rotating the prototype collection. So pretty good stuff. Once again, I think a lot of this is going to be good. I know in 2 quarters ago, they kind of talked on how the test drives were up, word of mouth was really increasing, marketing was working. They haven't really elaborated or given much updates on that. So hopefully they do kind of talk on saying that all these pop-up studios and everything is really driving up sales eventually. So we'll just have to wait and see what they do come up with. But this once again does show the fact that you need to ask the right question. So closer to the date, I'll be going over this a little bit more. So they did announce this, so the actual production and delivery numbers for Q3. They announced this on October the 7th, but coming up this week, so starting on October the 24th, you are able to pose questions to management. So it is that time once again. So the 4 opportunities a year that retail gets to ask questions. And so we have to make this good ones. I've already said this time and time again, and actually, to be honest, I say this every quarter, but sometimes we still get those crappy questions that come out about Apple partnerships. Just, I don't know at this stage. Please do not ask about it being profitable. They've already alluded to it. It's going to be correlated with that mid-size SUV. So probably if that's coming out late 2026, so probably 2027 or early 2028 is going to be profitability. So still, no matter what though, it's very discouraging because people are still going to ask that. So regardless, that is coming out this week, so October the 24th. Shorts surprisingly did return 2.28 million shares on Friday, so probably just freeing up some room over the weekend. So anticipate shorts to be very active, especially correlated with Tesla. So if there's some negatives associated to what Tesla unveils, shorts will be there to pounce all over Lucid. But cost to borrow average is a little bit lower, so 10.47%, and then utilization is 97.7. So yeah, shorts have been lingering for a very, very long time. It'd be really nice, on a side note, if that was actually a question posed to Peter for their upcoming earnings. What are you doing to kind of deter shorting? And I know this isn't obviously a Palantir channel, but Alex Karp, for those of you that do remember, he actually, and the short interest on Palantir was like at 4%, but he said that F the shorts, all they're doing is trying to kill American companies just for their coke. He said something along those lines. Don't quote me exactly, but regardless, he addressed shorts, and the short interest was 4%. Lucid definitely does need to say something at this stage in the game, so hopefully Peter does say something, or maybe once again us retail can pose that question to management. But with Lucid closing where it did on Friday, you're not going to see any in the money options really. So 147 at the 2, 716 at the 250. Even this upcoming week, very low volume for that for any of the options. So you're seeing just nobody really doing anything other than monthly chains, as you can kind of see, but that clearly is just entities and big money. But yeah, so I think in reality, a lot of people are just going to be watching for Lucid, their upcoming earnings, what companies are going to be saying for future guidance, so especially Tesla. But right now with that $2.63, it is trading between these 2 points. So the S2 and this S1, 259 is going to be the strong support. So conveniently as well, at the same time, that was that whole conversion price that Bank of America and also the affiliate of the PIF is getting it for. So $2.59.1. And then 265, 274, and 284 are going to be the following resistance points. So kind of just watch for that. Leading into this upcoming week, I don't need to tell you guys the fact that the technicals don't look all that great. But like I said in my video that I put out on Saturday, why I decided to buy is because I think at this stage, the market has factored in all of Lucid's crap. So the only thing that could make things worse is if Lucid somehow pushes back the Gravity. And I think the likelihood of that occurring is very minimal. It could happen. Sometimes my crystal ball is wrong, but I think Lucid has to be smart enough to realize that if they do not put out the Gravity, they are going to be royally screwed. So yeah, obviously you have to take the technicals with a grain of salt, but even based on the ALMA, super trend, 50, 100, and 200-day moving averages, everything is very bearish. And even recently, based on some of the latest analyst ratings, they haven't been all that great. So you had a lot that came out over the last day and a half. So 340, 3, 4, and then $2 price targets. So yeah, it's kind of crazy how all of this is playing out. I don't think a lot of people anticipated this much negativity with Lucid, and it's really sad to see the broader indexes kind of hit all-time highs, and Lucid for the most part inverse, almost hitting all-time lows. But yeah, I think in general with Lucid, you're going to see a increase in volatility this week. So just once again, take note of some of the strong support and resistance points. Logically, I don't see a new 52-week low being hit this week. If anything, it'll come from Lucid's actual earnings, which is slated for November the 7th. So make sure you guys add that to your calendar. So roughly around 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks away. So in my opinion, I think that it might actually be fluctuating kind of above this price point. So cautiously optimistic. I think it has no reason to be above $3 for this week, but I think it can actually be as high as maybe $2.84 for this week. That's just my prediction, of course, but I could be wrong. So don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Throw your price predictions for Lucid in the comments below. Where do you guys see things going? Have you guys been buying, selling, holding? Have you been doing options? What have you been doing? One final thing, or I guess 2 final things, as I always share with you, because this is a kick-ass deal, gives you 8 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. This is only up until November the 30th. So make sure you guys definitely take advantage of this. And then on the flip side, I did launch memberships. So if you like my Lucid content, want to support the channel, definitely consider joining as a member. As well, if you're looking for just buy signals on stocks and options, I have a tier for that as well. So I highly recommend you guys popping over there and taking a look at the memberships. And with all that said, appreciate all of you guys watching.